Hello, I'm Andy, and I'm going to read to you a program called Tarot Your Love Story for September 2019. And this is for you coming from ARIES. First, let me give you my email address, which is andyhoro9, ANDIHORO 9, the number 9 at gmail.com. Send me an email and I'll reply your answers. Let's start with romance, a new romance you may find for the first 15 days. Let's see what the card says. You coming from Aries. Ooh, this is not a good card. You're going to find a person that you know nothing about, and you're going to find slowly that this person could be a very difficult person, very aggressive, and very egoistic. So take your time when you meet somebody for the first 15 days of September. Don't rush into it. Learn about this person and only then make the move. And what about the romance that you may be having right now? Let's pull a card. Well, it's a card of leadership. So it's a question of, does your romance partner want the leadership or do you want the leadership? If you feel that you can give in and be very accommodating and flexible, then I would say that it would be a better thing that you do. Because if you stay your solid ground and if you are very stubborn and dominating, this card shows that there is going to be a problem in your ongoing romance in the first 15 days of September. Now about your marriage. Let's see what the card says for you coming from Aries. Well, it's a card called the universe, which means energy and understanding. Going to be very important issues. So you will have every chance to bring your point and have your partner understand. This card also shows that the foundation of the romance you're having now is not very steady. And you have to therefore need the knowledge to find out where it is not steady. So communication will be a very important asset to try and find out why this ongoing romance may have a weak foundation. That's all it is. And if you can find out and correct it, well, this card then will improve things for you. This is the message. Now, regarding your marriage for the first 15 days of September, let's see what this card says about your marriage. It's a very complicated card, but the message is very clear. The message for you coming from Aries is that avoid any topics which might create tension or arguments. That's what this card basically says. So avoid any kind of subjects or matters that may come up. Try to remain calm and try to hold on with the knowledge you have for another period of time. Because if you bring up such issues in the first 15 days, this card says that arguments are going to erupt and difficulties will follow after that. So, as I say, don't stir the dragon or you will feel the heat from it. Now, about your marriage for the first 15 days, let's see for you what the card says. It's a card of sunshine. So, your marriage area seems to be in a much better shape. But even from this card, I can see that ego is the issue. Who wants to take charge of the marriage? So since it's you listening to me, well, have a much better first 15 days by allowing your marriage partner to have the ego. How nice would that be? And you'll know exactly that you're doing it so that the marriage can become very happy. Now, the last 15 days of September, and I'm going to tackle a new romance should you find it. And what does the card says? Well, this is a card of entanglement, and the entanglement has Mercury controlling it, which means that if you find a new romance, you may have trouble from it, and you may have a lot of difficulties from it in terms of arguments and everything else. And if I apply that card to your ongoing romance, it would be the same story. Arguments may be based on finances and other things. Now, let me pull a card about your marriage for your last 15 days. And I would say your last 15 days for you coming from Aries, this is going to be another difficult card for you. It's a card that basically shows you cannot expect unnecessary demands. And so you just have to be very flexible with this card basically. Because it's a card that brings arguments and different differences of opinion. And it's a card that just doesn't get the togetherness going in your marriage. So, is you listening to me, and for the sake of keeping your last 15 days happy, why don't you just be very flexible and allow your marriage partner to take over whatever is happening, and that way you will have the much better then. Otherwise, all this is going to be last 15 days of September full of arguments and quarrels. Now we will talk about your lucky ages. And let's see who the people who are going to be from Aries who are going to be lucky ages. Which are the ages that are going to be that? Well, this is a Jupiter card. And so I'm going to say that if you happen to be the ages of 21 or 30 or 39 or 48 or 57 or 65 or 74, you're going to be one very lucky person, whether in the area of romance or whether in the area of marriage. You'll be able to have that harmony and wonderfulness for the whole month of September. And if you are not of these ages, then I suggest you have a 90-minute session with me. And in that 90 minutes, I'll be able to talk to you about your next 7, 8, or 9 years. We'll talk about more about later. Now about your lucky colors. And what's the lucky color going to be? I've got green, I've got light green, dark green, and purple, and I'm going to go for that purple. So if you wear plenty of purple, you coming from Aries, any little bit of purple above your waist especially, or you may hold it in your hands in the form of an handkerchief. And if you have that purple, you'll be very lucky in romance and in marriage. Simple as that. Now about lucky direction. And let's see what is a lucky direction you might want with this card. All right, from this card, I'm going to say that for inspiration, for romance and marriage, face northwest is going to be a very good direction for you. And facing northwest is going to help you overcome any of your problems. Okay? And lastly, an attachment. Who you might be wanting to have an attachment to, or who might be interested in wanting to have an attachment for you. And let's see what the card says. Well, it's the card of Pisces. And so I would say that somebody from Pisces would be making a beeline for you, or could you be making a beeline to meet that somebody from Pisces? And would it be a good attachment? It would be a good attachment. So this card blesses that attachment. So if you find or meet somebody from Pisces, show your interest and things will develop very beautifully for you. Well, this 90-minute session which I talk about is going to help you to know your next 7, 8, or 9 years based on your date of birth, your time of birth, looking at your palms. And based on that, I'll give you a lot of information from the universe. Your lucky days, your lucky gemstones, your lucky directions, your lucky colors. And I'll give you your personal lucky lottery numbers. And I'll show you how to get into that supernatural side of you, how to make that contact so that you use the supernatural energy to do things beyond what others can do in any area of your life. So send me that email address. Send me that email at andyhoro9, ANDIHORO 9, the number 9 at gmail.com. And I'll come back to you as soon as I can. Until then, I wish you a good month of September. Thank you and goodbye.